Hey guys, good morning. It is Tuesday, November 5th. It is the first Tuesday of November, which means it is election day. We're going to get into a little bit of that in a moment. But just a reminder, if you need to hit pause on this video, run out, cast your ballot, you can do it at any polling place in Harris County if you are a registered voter in Harris County. So that's a big change. Again, we'll get to all that in just a minute. But if this is your first time joining us, this is kind of a conversation about some of the big stories that you guys are clicking on khau.com that you're sharing on our Facebook page. We've got Brandon back in action after vacation here. So go ahead and leave your comments and questions about any of those stories, and we're going to circle back and address them at the end of this once we wrap all of the stories up. And then we'll go from there. But we're starting with a story that developed really overnight, and there's a reason you guys are clicking on it. It's absolutely tragic. 9 members of a family killed in Mexico. So we don't know a lot about this just yet, except for these family members were part of La Mora, which is a decades-old settlement about 100 miles south of the Arizona border in Mexico. It's kind of an offshoot of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they were all part of this caravan, multiple SUVs headed to a wedding. The FBI is investigating this, but it appears that it could be a case of mistaken identity by a drug cartel. But again, 9 family members, including 6 children. These are the photos of those victims. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. As many as 13 members of the settlement were initially reported missing, but one of the family members of the victims shared that his aunt, his nephew's wife, her 4 children, twin 7-month-old babies, and 2 other children aged 8 and 10, their bodies were found in the burned out, bullet-ridden SUV. It's just, this one's a hard story to digest. But again, the FBI is investigating, and this is a story we'll continue to get information about over the coming hours and days. There's another story a little closer to home that feels very much the same way, and it's the murder of the New Hampshire couple, the Butlers, who were camping on a beach in Corpus Christi. They were murdered, their bodies buried on that beach. And now we have that person of interest in the case. Actually, CBS News reports that an arrest warrant could be issued for him anytime this morning, as early as this morning. So this image that you just saw was captured when he drove the couple's truck and RV across the border into Mexico 4 days after they were reported missing. So we told you about when their bodies were found a little more than a week ago. In a shallow grave on Padre Island. They were identified as James and Michelle Butler. They'd just been on an adventure for about a year, traveling around the country in their RV, taking up odd jobs to pay for their trip along the way. They just come from the Southwest. So investigators are asking if you recognize this guy or the tattoos on the woman sitting next to him in that truck. You need to get in touch with investigators as soon as you can, but hopefully they've identified them. As I mentioned before, CBS says an arrest warrant could be issued at any time, but this individual is likely in Mexico. Next up, a story that will have you absolutely shaking your head for so many reasons, because it doesn't make any sense, but a Maryland man is dead after he was stabbed over a Popeyes chicken sandwich. I mean, what do you even say? Police say that the 2 men were in line, one apparently cut in front of the other. The fight escalated, made its way outside in the parking lot. One of the guys was stabbed, taken to the hospital where he died. The person who did the stabbing is still on the loose, but it's just, that's all the time I'm going to spend on that. I know a lot of people are clicking on it, but it's so frustrating. It's a damn sandwich, people. That's it. It's not worth someone's life. Okay. Refresh let's talk about Election Day. There are a ton of big issues and candidates on the ballot, especially here in Harris County. If you are registered within Houston proper, you could decide who Houston's next mayor will be. There are also 10 constitutional amendments on the ballot statewide. I mentioned the change in polling location rules earlier. If you are in Harris County, and actually most of the neighboring counties now, you can go vote at any polling location. You don't have to go to the one that you were assigned in a previous election. So whatever is most convenient. If there's one near work, if there's one near home, if there's one near your kid's school, wherever and whenever it's going to be most convenient for you. We have a whole rundown on khou.com/politics of the issues of the constitutional amendments, where you can find polling places, what kind of identification you need to bring with you. That is all on there. So if you have any questions about what today is all about, go there. I do have a question for you though, because this was something we talked about this morning on H-Town Rush, and it's whether you think Election Day should be a federal holiday so that people get the day off. Because too often people make the excuse, well, they don't have time. Even though there's early voting that gives you like 2 weeks to go and cast your ballot and beat the crowds, people still don't do it, and they want to do it on Election Day. I have the benefit of having a really weird schedule that allows me to peace out of work at 10 a.m. because I got here at 2 a.m. So I know there won't be crowds at my polling place when I go. But let me know what you think about that prospect. Should Election Day be a federal holiday? And then finally, let's wrap it up with something kind of funny, because it's been a rather brutal morning. Were you watching Monday Night Football last night? Did you catch this in the second half? This cat basically took over the internet as soon as it walked on the field. It was the Jets and the Cowboys in New York, and that cat actually got more action in the end zone than the Cowboys did. Up to that point, things turned around though. As soon as the cat was off the field, Cowboys had a comeback, and they ended up winning that game. But if you haven't heard it, there is an incredible play call for that cat that is just great. Also, my fantasy roster is real weak this week because I swear every team is on a bye. I have no wide receivers, so I'm thinking about playing that cat. Forecast today, high around 80. 20% chance of showers. It's going to be a little overcast, although it looks pretty sunny right now as I peek out the window. You can go to KH. Oh, I was going to say go to khou.com/weather to get a look at the forecast, but Brandon's over here pulling up the outlook. You've got 80 today, and then look at next Monday. Like, it cools off in a big way. Fall is here, guys. All right. Those are your stories. Your forecast. It's comment time. Sometimes my favorite, sometimes not. Brandon.
Yeah, well, I think people mostly today are sharing the outrage over this Popeyes situation. You know, it's just a sandwich. Don't really know what else to say about it, and I feel like that's what everybody else is saying. Seems pretty ridiculous.
And we had incidents like this before in the first run when Popeyes released them. Guys, the chicken sandwiches, the recipe for which can be found online. If you really, really want one, just go make one. Also, there wasn't any indication that because this guy cut in line, the other guy was not going to get a sandwich. Just calm down.
Yeah.
It reminds me of all the road rage cases that we had around here this summer. I mean, and there's still been some cases just in this past week that kind of flared up. Why? Just chill, people. Just chill.
Yeah, we have a couple comments talking about this situation in Mexico with this family. A lot of people are skeptical and are waiting for more to come out, but Sue says she has a feeling that more information will come to light about this, but no matter what, it is very sad, especially since a lot of those were children.
Yeah, 6 of the 9 were kids,
yeah.
and babies at that. Yeah, FBI is investigating so that more information will come out in the days to come.
Yeah, and finally, Amy's talking about our question about whether polling day should be a national holiday, she's saying yes, obviously. So I'm with her. You know, we work the morning shift and it is easier to get off, but when I worked the night side shift, it was definitely a choose to be late situation, and let everybody know I will be late, or just don't go, which feels pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, like you're shirking your civil responsibility.
Right.
And I really want to encourage people to get out there. They thought there would be a lot of turnout for this election, especially because we're electing a mayor, but early voting, only 6.5% of registered voters turned out. There's a lot of different reasons. Our political analyst thinks it could have been kind of the miserable weather. A lot of people were totally zoned in on the Astros and not paying attention. Also, the mayoral race has been kind of nasty with a lot of the candidates going after each other, so that may have scared some people off. But it's so important to get out there and do it. I know I'm gonna, I have a hair appointment at noon because, you know, it's looking a little raggedy up here. But after that, I will be going to my polling place and casting my vote because I think it is very important. We will keep you updated on those results throughout the night too, when those start coming in at 8 o'clock. So we have another update here at 2:15. You should tune in for that. And then sign up for the KHOU 11 mobile app. You can choose what kind of topics you want to get notifications about. And if elections, breaking news, if that's your jam, you can just select those and we will send you those updates when they come in. Have a great day, guys.